Number one, I thought the hearing yesterday was outstanding. And the regulatory approach where you license AI companies with a regulatory agency that can, has the talent and the authority to kind of rein them in seems to be a smart way to go. I have that same approach with Senator Warren with social media. So I hope this committee can continue to work together and come up with a product that maybe our other colleagues will latch on to. So I thought it was a great hearing. You'll get a letter from us pretty soon about the Durham report. Whether you like Trump or not, what happened in the FBI is just mind-boggling. You had a document called the Steele dossier, Mr. Chairman, used to get a warrant against Mr. Page and keep an investigation alive. There was a bunch of Russian disinformation, and it was used time and time again, and the FBI was told numerous times that it's not reliable, and they kept using it anyway. And you mentioned yesterday that there's nothing new in the Durham report. Well, the Durham report, unlike Mr. Horowitz, who did a great job, I thought, said there was never a reason to open the investigation to begin with. So what we have is a situation where the FBI and the Department of Justice used information from agents of a foreign government to get a warrant against American citizens, a citizen, and put a cloud over the Trump presidency and tried to really, in my view, to politically affect the outcome of the 2016 election. They got caught. They wanted it to be true, Mr. Chairman, and when they were told it may not be true, they completely ignored it. It's Republicans today, it could be Democrats tomorrow. So I'm hoping that the committee would bring Mr. Durham in and let him explain to us his report, because I think it is substantially different. And I would just say this. During the Mueller investigation, I, along with Senator Tillis and Senator Coons, introduced legislation that the special counsel could not be removed without cause, because I wanted to make sure that Mr. Mueller could look and find out whether there's any there, even though I was supporting President Trump. Now that it's all over, this is J. Edgar Hoover stuff. And if this committee doesn't bring Mr. Durham in and let him explain to us what he did for all those years, I think we missed an opportunity to learn and take corrective action. So I hope you would entertain that idea. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could I just mention something along that same line? I agree with Senator Graham. I think this is a profound assault on some of the most important institutions of our government. The American people simply think that there is a deep state, a conspiracy against political opponents, and it's incredibly dangerous. I couldn't agree more with Senator Graham that this cuts both ways. And while people may like the idea that it was President Trump that was the target of this, these same abuses could easily be turned on other political opponents in the future. So I hope we do the best we can to cut this cancer out of some of our most important institutions. And in that vein, I would hope that we'd get Director Wray to come in and testify about the things he has done to try to correct against these abuses. And the statement I read from the FBI said that they believe that the same sorts of abuse would not have occurred had these measures been in place at the time. I know Director Wray is a little allergic to publicity like any other self-respecting director of the FBI, but I do believe it's really important for us to be able to ask him questions, hard questions, and have him reassure the American people that the appropriate measures have been put in place. And finally, I have not weighed in on the Hunter Biden story before, but what we saw happen with 50 members of the intelligence community, former members of the intelligence community, claim that the investigation of Hunter Biden was in part a product of Russian disinformation. undercuts the credibility of the intelligence community. Again, I'm on the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. I think our intelligence community plays a vital role in keeping our country safe. But this sort of mixture of politics and policy, particularly with the FBI and now with the intelligence community, is profoundly dangerous. And I'm concerned about it. I hope we have a public airing of this so the American people can see us doing our jobs, because they're going to want to see some accountability and they're going to want to see some course correction. And I think they deserve it. Thank you for a moment.
But when we do the SB 254, this will permanent outlaw the mutilation of minors. It will outlaw the surgical procedures and experimental puberty blockers for minors. It will also require any adults receiving these surgeries to be informed about the irreversible nature. You have a movement amongst, I would say, rogue elements of the medical establishment to do things that is basically the mutilation of minors. I mean, they're trying to do sex change operations on minors, giving them things like puberty blockers, and doing things that are irreversible to them. A woman should not be in a locker room having to worry about someone from the opposite sex being in their locker room.